Hello and welcome, race fans, to Racing Equals Life, a brand new podcast about racing, sim racing, gaming, nerd culture, and life. I'm your host, Torrin King. Today, I'm very excited to share with you a conversation I recently had with Chepi and Terry. You might know Terry from Nerdworx. He's the man behind those awesome liveries and all the cool artwork and stuff associated with a lot of the Rallycross drivers and some of the other big teams out there. And then Chepi, of course, is big in the iRacing Rallycross World Championship. He was in every interview from the broadcast last year, and they shared some of his VR footage and things like that. So I was really excited to talk to the two of these guys. So let's take a listen. So let's do this.
Okay, let's go.
So, Chepi, you just came back from the Sim Expo at Nürburgring. It's not your first time you've gone, right?
No, actually, it was my fourth time, and like 4 years ago, when I joined first time with a friend who told me about this, and we joined just for a few hours on Sunday. I realized how much I missed. So that was the point where actually this event became my probably main and best activity through my year. And I'm waiting it's really amazing experience. It's not just what you see there and what you can test, but to meet in person people you know for so many years and not just voices and race against them, and then you meet them in person, that really changed mentality next time when you race the same guys, because you don't race anymore a name, you race personality. That is how at least I feel, and it's really amazing. I mean, every year when time arrives for this, I'm pushing so many people to join, because I don't know, for me it's the best experience in my life. Really, I love it.
That's awesome. I really wish we had something like that here in the States. I've been looking for it. I think there's a version of it, but the problem is we're so spread out over here, it's hard to get a bunch of people together. But we got a group of people together from the Rallycross community that were pretty close to the Mid-Ohio Rallycross race. So I met Bobby Sant and Connor Parisi, Jeff Applegren, and it was so awesome to just like you said, these people you've been just hanging out with in voice, you meet the person, and then after that there's a
everything
personality.
Changed.
Yeah, everything changes. I know you now. You're not just random person.
Yeah, a picture and a voice.
Yeah, it's funny. Jeff, since he's in Minnesota, I'm on his way, so he actually stopped by and stayed the night with me, met my wife and my son.
Let me hear about that.
No, it was great. We just drove the simulator and just got some pizza and had a good time. But my wife was kind of freaked out about it, and I'm sure Jeff was a little freaked out too. But now, just that one night, and we all chat and hung out, and now Kim's always asking how Jeff's doing. How's your friend in Minnesota doing? It's so cool.
Yeah.
He's a person.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
not just the random person I'm talking to on the internet.
He's the weird guy that stayed at my house. So,
Yeah.
she knows who he is.
My wife's familiar with you, Terry, because you sent 3 cutouts of your head.
Yeah, I was there in spirit and standy stick.
Yeah, but that's like that in combination with a sim expo, that's so awesome. I would love to have something like that here. Or
the other thing with that expo is the magic place Nordschleife,
Mm-hmm.
it's just amazing. That place is a dream for me. Sometimes I'm thinking maybe I have to move to live, in this area, because there is a mount around. Actually, the place I live, there is only straight roads and probably some roundabouts where I can actually test, my car turning. And this place is all about corners. It's just lovely. And yeah, the other special thing for me is that through all those years, I have like, whoa, that car is jumping really bad on those hot tires already. Sorry, I jumped the topic. But
Yeah, I saw you almost lose it.
you see that? It was crazy. So much grip now. I sim race for many years, probably online. I started racing 2008. And the funny thing, right now, after almost 12 years, my best friends, I meet them on the tracks online, and then we met. So it's amazing. Like every year, I'm going to some friends around the world for a few days. It's crazy. People sharing same passion, same love. World became really small with internet.
That's
crazy.
So I've been playing games for my whole life, but I just mentioned I've been sim racing for almost 2 years now, and what happened was I met people from everywhere. Like I met you, Chepi, like Julian. I have friends in Australia and New Zealand and everywhere, and it's exactly. The world gets really small. But the community is like amazing. Like, sure, there's like a lot of competitiveness and a lot of like trolls and all that fun stuff.
Though,
you get it everywhere, but you don't have a community like the sim racing community and a lot of esports or gaming.
Yeah, having friends online in any game or sim that, like Chep says, has the same passion as you. It's everything just connects. It's like you've instantly known them for 3 months, even though you've just done 10 laps with them,
Yep. Well, that's kind of like the really special thing is like a lot of my friends on sim racing are just random people that I had a really awesome time racing with. Like we were door slamming in Rallycross or whatever, just like amazing, awesome stuff happening or hilarious things happening. And then we're bros.
Chep, slow down up there. I think he's been tweaking the set a little bit.
Okay. So let me share what I've got.
Yeah, big secrets.
Nah, it's just, few things
I don't think
know
I'd keep
about
up with you
setups,
anyway,
but I'm still learning the car, because this car is going to take a really big part of my life from now on. I'm planning to run the Neo series, the endurance with this car. Yeah,
oh, sweet.
Big series.
We have with Alex Simpson team, and we registered this year. So our goal is going to be to win this, but let's see how it's gonna work. He's really quick driver.
So Chep, when you go to like one of the sim expos, like what do you say? That's like the 4th time you've been at that one?
Yeah.
So when you walk in, is it like, I don't know if you know the American show Cheers, where the guy walks in the bar and everybody yells his name? Like, do people recognize you there? Do people come up that you don't know that know you from watching?
Yeah, the funny thing about this is when I got there the first year, I was super surprised that so many people, recognize me, because I'm quite active on Facebook and YouTube. So I know so many people, but I don't know their faces. But those people are quite familiar with my face, so they jump into me and they were like, "Hey, Chepi, what is going on?" And I was like, "Okay, I'm happy to see you, but who are you? And then they told me the name, and we were hugging each other, and hey, And then second year, I was sitting outside, smoking outside on the expo, and somebody came to me and asked me, who are you? And I said, who am I? And he said, okay, I'm familiar with your name, and maybe it's good if everybody just put name on the t-shirt so people can recognize each other. And then the entire year I push everybody to put names on the t-shirts because it will be so much easier, to recognize.
Yeah, it's a name tag.
Yeah, and the last 2 years we are with the names around, and you just recognize people, some from the name, some from the face. It's brilliant. It's amazing.
And Chep from his stylish clothes,
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. We had
I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know if Julien. I met Julien this year. I don't know if he told you that, but we met on the Expo. Yeah. And he's watching my T-shirt, which is from Apex Racing team, and there is the logo of the iRacing series, Rallycross series, and then the other side was your logo.
Yes.
Terry, and he was like, "Oh, I have to take picture of that and send it to to Terry."
Yeah, I'm on his helmet actually. It's I'm pretty honored. I'm on your clothes, and when Julian races in real life, he's got Nerdworx across his helmet, so it's a pretty big honor for me.
Yeah, for us it's a big honor to have
Julian's
your fans,
cool
bro.
cat, man.
You are an artist. I mean, you're really good, and I believe, people are good in what they do if they really put love and passion. And I feel like you put so much passion and love into your painting works. It's like I have seen so many paint works through all those years, but when I see yours first time I start loving my painting, my colors on my cars. It was amazing.
Yeah, I thought at first you were teasing me way back with the Fusion. He was so excited. I'm like, is this a joke or something? And he's like,
nah, it wasn't. It wasn't, bro. Just amazing colors,
I like it. I have fun with it.
I have to agree with all that. I've only recently started wearing Nerdworx, but I've always been a fan from a little bit afar.
Well, you have the opportunity to dress in Nerdworx now. Before you had other obligations, so you couldn't. You wanted to, but you couldn't. You could have worn like Nerdworx underwear. Nobody would have known.
Well, the thing about it is for the painters in the community, especially where we all know each other from in Rallycross, I think Terry elevated everyone else up because they're like, oh shit, like I can't just throw this together how I normally do. Like I'm competing with Terry.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this year when Apex look for somebody to basing the clothes for our new team, and I see Terry around competing for that, I was getting quiet for a while just to see how will they react. I didn't want them to push directly to say, no, Terry is our guy. I just want them to
holding back his lobbying,
Yeah. Everybody gets so excited, when they see his work.
It's just different. I mean, there's some incredible painters out there. Just everybody has a different style. There's some people love my stuff. Sometimes it's super aggressive. Sometimes it's just not for people. They want something more laid back. So, I mean, there's enough people in all of iRacing to kind of fit everybody's needs. There's people usually find someone that makes liveries and they're happy with that guy's style. It suits their style. So it's cool when people love it, but in the same sense, I'm fine when people don't, because that's art in general. You look at something, you love it, and I look at it and I go, that looks like frog piss, but I respect that you love it, and it's I take zero offense to when somebody doesn't like something, but I also love when they do love it. It's cool to have somebody go, I love this, and you say in your head, I made this. It's a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah, that's one thing you have to get over pretty quickly when you're an artist or a designer. I've learned from being in the graphic design world.
Yeah, it's part of the game, and anytime you create anything, wood, paint, out of any medium, everybody's not going to like it, and as soon as you can be okay with that, then it becomes so much easier to be creative, because you're not doing something that you think people will like, because it doesn't matter to you, so you can actually create what you want to, which kind of is the same thing in life in general. Once you can be who you want to be, then life becomes so much easier.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about gear now.
Yeah, I want to hear all the gear. I know Jeff knows the specs of everything.
I see some pictures all the time, all over the place. I'm just like browsing Facebook and some sim racing group. Here's Steliyan putting all of his rig photos up, and I'm like, oh, did he add something new?
Oh god!
You're like such a.
I can share. Yeah, I can split that like a second hobby, putting together my rig around. I mean, I love the high-end gears for sim racing, and I'm definitely sure they help a lot, because what happened is, at the time I put the high gearing, like those direct drive wheels, I found that I don't need any more to practice like crazy. And actually I can put my fastest lap of the day in about 10 to 15 minutes. And then I just start overshooting, trying to make something better. So previously I had to practice for every race like days before. Now, with one thing with the direct drive wheel is you can feel the texture on the track. You can feel like every bump. You will understand whatever and why it happens on the track. So that makes things so much easier, and you don't need to just put over and over again WAPs to make some muscle memory, but you can start driving on feeling. And the other very important thing is the pedal, especially the brake. At the time I put the load cell brake, I became instantly a lot quicker on pace, because I start managing my tires a lot better. And the other thing with the VR, for example, I am super big fan of VR, as you know. I'm crazy about VR, and I still feel like VR is the best upgrade for me. Is my personal point of view, but if you take the VR from me now, I feel like I'm going to give up sim racing. I feel so immersed. I remember when I put first time the Oculus Rift and sit in the car and making my first laps. It was such a weird feeling that I felt like somebody made me digital and put me in this digital world I know for so many years. Yeah, it was such a great feeling. I was all over the places the first day because everything looks so different. And I start learning completely new things and even checking my lines. My lines were really different. I remember I just started driving the MX-5 in really high level, like against the best. And that same season, with the VR, I win the championship and I put some world records that they are still there with the MX-5. And because people always say that VR makes you slow, it's not the case. You can be fast with monitors, but you can be really fast with VR. I can't say something makes you faster, but
More
I think you can be.
consistent, though, definitely.
Yeah, for me right now, I test on the Expo because on the Expo nobody use VR because it's quite difficult to set up for so many thousands of people going, testing those rigs, and you have to adjust every time for every single person. So this year people decide to go with monitors there, and I test. I don't know if you see the video. I test Rallycross with really brutal motion rig, but on monitors. And it was really difficult for me to hit the apexes. Like I couldn't feel the distances. I couldn't feel when it's time to brake. Where are my markers, my braking points?
Right, looking all around with your head and nothing's moving,
Yeah. Yeah, that depth of view is missing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that is my personal view. Some people don't agree with me, and
Some people love the monitors,
yeah, anyone see and feel things differently, so I don't want to push anyone to think like me. But personally, if you take the VR from my head, I am going to give up. Definitely.
I kill you.
I agree with that too. Like everyone's gonna have their preferences, but most people I talk to that legitimately use VR for a while and get used to it, they love it. And
Yeah.
I gotta try it.
it's one of those things like I would rather have like mediocre gear in VR than like direct drive and monitors now that I'm like so used to being in VR, because it's the depth of field, it's it's the immersion. I feel
You are
more
in the car.
in the
You are
car.
in the car.
Yep.
You are sitting in the car. That's the main thing. Driving now behind you
To me,
and
it's
seeing your car in real scale.
Yep.
Such a great feeling. I mean, I can feel like I really raced real life, and I have some real life experience. So because I make sim racing and real racing through the years quite simultaneously. Oh, that word is so difficult for me, but you get it.
Yeah. No, you got it.
Yeah. So my brain adjusts things like I'm sure if I drive now this Audi for 2 days and then I test the real one, I will definitely, if you close my eyes and don't tell me what car is this, I will feel that the real Audi is the Audi RS.
Mm-hmm.
Because my brain can read, forces through my ass and forces through my hands. And for me, it's absolutely the same thing. Like driving real cars and sim cars is the same thing for me. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What was the first Steliyan rig? Like what started all the madness that you drive now? Like what was the first pedal wheel setup that you had?
Oh, I don't remember.
Serious, like when you got seriously into it, but
When I got seriously, so I can tell you because there was a point where I started driving with wheels, but really cheap wheels, like 30, 40 euro wheels, really fake, and I didn't know about sim racing anything. I just love playing Colin McRae Rally, the the
That
2-1
was a
with,
good one, man.
you know, yeah,
That was
with the
a wicked good one.
with the keyboard. And then I found that Leaf for Speed game simulator actually, which was not the second one but the first one. And first time I felt that the car is connected to the road. So that was the point when I decided to try with the wheel. And then I remember I didn't know anything. That was a point where internet was not in our home. And the information I had to find for whatever racing parts or sim parts, it was through magazines. I remember I used to spend like $100 every month for magazines just to find the things I am looking for. And most of the times I didn't find them. So I remember first time I go into one shop and I ask the guy there, I want a wheel which rotates like a lot and which have 3 pedals and maybe gear shift. I didn't know if such a thing exists at all.
Like
And the guy just started laughing on me and it made me feel really like a stupid person.
Gotta
But
let
then
them-
there was somebody else who came close to me and said, I'm gonna show you something, and open a magazine and show me that G25 from Logitech. And he told me, but this thing is quite expensive, and that thing cost like $250 euro at the time. And it felt like this is really expensive. Oh my god. So we ordered this, and after a few weeks arrived, and I start driving Richard Burns rally.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Warren.
It's all good.
That was around
He was probably
2000.
another sim racer, though, right? Like you talk about community.
Yeah. Yeah, so my first real wheel was G25. I think the first year I broke 2 of them because I used to drive Richard Burns Rally 8 hours per day. I had to learn every single stage, every single corner. That makes like 100,000 corners.
That was
it-
a sim, right?
Yeah, man,
I've
that
never
was
played
really,
it.
really, really difficult sim. I'm out of fuel. And because I'm quite competitive person, I really wanted to be good at that. So I started practicing, and it took me 2 years, 8 hours per day to become really competitive and start winning races, championships, stuff like
Thought
this.
I go overboard with things.
Nah.
Right?
Just
Yeah,
like your puny 4 hours a day. Pfft.
Man, I was quite young at this time, and I feel like I work like 10, 11 hours, and then I drive for 8, and then I sleep 4 hours maybe.
Yep.
A lot to practice for now. You got
Yeah.
coming up with a lot of fast guys. It's going to be a lot different than last year's Rally Championship. A lot more fast guys in there this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at is, all these people that missed out on the first year that have spent all this time with a lot of us, like, a lot of our community, and they're just so talented and good drivers, and they're respectful for the most part.
Yeah,
So,
I feel like some of the old pro license owners gonna be outsider on this championship.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the new
It'll
people
change
are-
up. The end of this year will look a lot different than last year,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
mid-pack's going to be all the really extremely fast guys.
Well, I figure if I just bet on an Apex driver, I'm in a pretty good boat.
I think so.
It's a pretty good pool to pick from.
Well, let's see what's gonna happen. We're gonna try for sure our best. I feel like Johan have the best chances Johan became really a monster.
Yeah, he's a
he's-
monster.
He's like amazing.
How's it feel to drive with one of your people you used to race against door to door? You guys had a couple dust ups in the past, and now your teammates working together, with a same goal in mind,
Yeah, the thing with Johan is I never got mad with this guy, but that's probably just me. I'm not getting upset too much with racing if something happens, but definitely there was, some races with Johan really hard the last championship.
I remember.
You remember that
Yeah.
that crazy race when we overtook each other like
Sonoma?
5 times. Yeah.
Sonoma.
Oh,
That was so good to
was
watch.
crazy.
This is one of the best moments of the championship. I thought was your battle.
That was,
Wow, I remember that race was just before the Sim Expo. Actually, we did the race, and next day we had to go to the Expo. And I met Johan first time there, in personal, and he came to me like a really calm boy and said, "Chepi, I'm sorry." I was, what the fuck are you talking about? I enjoy this so much. It was crazy race, yeah. But now working together with Johan and John,
Mick Carlisle.
yeah, and yeah, we work, on the setups, and everybody find different stuff and share information, and I feel like we became a lot better than last year. And we are going to be respectful on the track, and it's gonna be definitely fun.
Oh, I'm so the problem I'm going to have is last year there was, I was very easily rooting for Fusion because, you were on there, Julian, Josh, all of my buddies, Connor.
Yeah.
This year everyone's on separate teams and more of my friends are in there. Otto,
Who do you
Danny,
root for,
everyone.
Danny, Madigan, Kevo, Johan, Connor, Bobby, Josh. Like, it's just...
Everyone's my
Chepi,
friend.
John, yeah.
I can't. I'm going to be happy with every outcome and sad about every outcome. It's going to be so good. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be a really exciting championship. It's gonna be really exciting. I put my money on Johan.
Yeah,
But-
I would.
Yeah,
You know how many people I've heard say that so far? It's at least 5.
yeah,
Changed
because
a lot since last year. He's become a better all-around driver. I think.
that's the thing. He built so much confidence, and he became so much better driver. And every time, the last months, most of the times we compete, I take the qualify, but then he just, pass me, and then he built some gap, and I feel like helpless. It's really bad feeling. And the only thing that counts me down is that he is my teammate, so I must be happy with that. Yeah,
As he goes by you, oh, I'm happy.
yeah. I always, his mindset. I always try to be happy, and always try to not upset myself. Whatever it happens, and through my life, I'm trying to take the positive things of any situation.
That's
And
something I was going to say at some point was, just coming into iRacing and you kind of being this popular guy and sharing so much about iRacing and Rallycross, your optimism is just inspiring, and I don't know, just in the moment, it's those kinds of things when I hear you say like, oh, I'm not mad about how hard Johan fought me, like that's like humbling and inspiring, and it just kind of gives a good example to everyone else on how to behave and how to feel about things. Because I'm always the kind of person that's like, you know, if a mistake happens or if someone does something wrong to you, like, just keep calm and they'll probably mess up the next corner and you'll be good. Like, the race isn't over until it's over, right?
Yeah, you know, you can get frustrated, but what I found through the years, and I built, I think, that thing on the BSRTC championship, where you really have to make entire race side by side, fighting for the next position. And even if you are leader, you can be taken out very easy. You know, with some little tap, you can lose few places. And I found the best thing for me is when something happened, I just reset my mind at this point and start everything all over again. Like, I don't think at all about
New race.
Yeah,
You know?
it's like completely new race, exactly. Like, I start completely new race. I always say to myself that this is the new point, and I just have to fight for the next position. It doesn't matter if from first became 30th. And I don't have to try to go back to the first, because that's not going to happen, and I am going to kill myself. I'm going to lose all the points I need. But generally in life, looking like this, the things is more healthy way, because my philosophy about life is we are born to be happy, and we have to try to find the way what makes us happy in our life, because what is life? It's just coming and going, and everything between, it depends mostly on you.
I suck at corner.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of my whole inspiration for just like making content and naming it Racing Equals Life is I started finding all these parallels, and like I see other people saying very similar things or telling me stories that, you know, just like what you said, like there's so many parallels, like, you know, remaining calm or resetting when something bad happens on track. You do that in real life, and you know what I mean, you're going to rebound a lot easier if you have failures, which we all have. So that's really cool. Another topic I wanted to touch on, just one time, and I kind of mentioned this to you before we started recording, but we were in a, for fun, Rallycross race, bunch of guys. Chepi comes in, joins voice, and he starts going on this rant about dieting and sleeping, and all of us are kind of like, what?
Wait, no, we're racing. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. And well, I just got to say, like, I had a very similar experience. I've had a really tough year, just like some stuff with like personal life, like work related things, just not good, you know. And I kind of spent a lot of the year kind of in a little state of depression.
Yeah.
And I, you know, gained weight, and I think I'm younger than you, Chepi. Are you?
I'm 42.
42. Okay, yeah. I'm 33. So, I remember. I don't know if it was something you said then or something you said at another point in time, but you started kind of feeling like you were old and you didn't want to feel old anymore.
Yeah, and that was exactly.
And that kind of clicked for me. Just, and you know, I just think back to the things you said, but it's not what triggered it. It took some time later, but then I started doing the same things. Just found a diet, started losing weight, started exercising, and my brain chemistry just changed. Like I'm happy again, and nothing about my work situation has changed. It's actually maybe even worse, but I'm happy. Like, you know, shedding the pounds, just feeling young. Like I have a 2-year-old. So I started, just felt like couldn't keep up with him and all that fun stuff. And just, I don't know, you feel like you're dying too soon. And then, you make a change like that and you can kind of spring right back from it and start feeling young and in charge again.
Yeah,
doing seminars soon, and charging for it.
I studied the thing for about a year and a half already, and I learned so many things. But actually, everything starts like about 2 years ago. I realized that I am in constant state of like depression, and I couldn't feel my energy level were really low. And I remember working the entire week really hard, waiting for the weekends that those days I can enjoy my sim racing, because I couldn't find any energy to practice and race through the week. And then I realized that all the weekends I felt like lack of energy, and my days were, I spent my weekends on my bed watching just stupid videos, and couldn't find any, energy to do my hobby. And I had those headaches, and I have heard from so many people that when you go around 40s, you start feeling like this. And I said to myself, no, that's not gonna be me. Okay, they're right. I already feel like this, but now I have to learn why I feel like this, what caused that feeling. And I start study biology and hormones to understand why my energy level is so low. And then I found everything is just nutrition related. And lack of sleep. But all those things are so much together. Like, if you don't sleep well, your nutrition choice is always gonna be bad. And that's because your hormones are on such a state that you really need starchy foods. And yeah, when I realized this, I study few diets, and I found that keto diet is going to help me a lot to heal my body. And after 3 months, I felt like new. I felt like 20 years old person. I remember waking up every morning. I had that big smile on my face, and my brain were trying to figure it out, what is going to happen today and what can I do today. And I finished so many things I had in my mind for so many years, but I never had the energy to do them.
Yep.
And then for a few months, I did everything. And I was so inspired about this, and I wanted to share, that experience with everybody I know. Because this is lifestyle. This can change your life and can change the life around you, and for people you really love and care. And you're right, everything is about hormones. Your happiness depends on your hormones, what they say. If you manage to put your hormones in order, you are going to become a really happy person.
So I have such a similar story, low energy, just I'm full of ideas and full of desire and ambition and all that fun stuff, and just never really acted upon anything. And I did the same thing. I started focusing on sleeping, and I started keto too, and just I'm not a big guy that's into working out, but I just do pretty light stuff. And just complete 360. Now, I'm doing the things that I've always said I wanted to do. I just stopped, not having the energy or whatever it is, and now I'm just I'm doing it, and it's just everything just works. I'm happy. I stopped caring so much. It's just, it just everything starts clicking and starts working.
Yeah, things are so simple. Like, what defines you as a person is, they say is the choices you make for your food, your nutrition. But actually, what is really happening is what defines you like a person is, as a person, is your energy level. Because imagine how different the same person, how different personality he gonna be if he is depressed or if he's just full of energy and wake up those two persons in the morning. So one is going to choose and make things, and the other one will just sitting in the couch and waiting for the next day.
But it's the same person. That's what.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so simple, but people don't understand, Actually, the problem is so big, is political problem, That sugar industry is the most powerful industry in the world. And working together with the pharmacy. So they feeding us last 60, 70 years with so wrong food. And they put sugar into everything, and sugar is just like a narcotic, You can't escape. It makes you feel good for a while, for the moment you take it in, but it makes so much damage to your body. It's just unbelievable. And I used to live my entire life eating only sweet things. Like sometimes I can eat entire week only sweet things, and I was drinking soft drinks all the time and never drink water. And I don't know how my body managed all those things for so many years. But at the end, once I hit my 40s, it started hitting me really bad. So I felt like really bad, really old person. But everything can change like for 3 months. That's the best thing. It's never late,
Yeah, exactly. I was surprised how quickly I started just feeling better. It was
yeah.
Well, the funny thing about keto is like you feel like death pretty quickly, like when you first start. It's because your body kind of goes into like shock a little bit from like, knocking off all the sugar and stuff.
There is a reason for that. Why you feel so bad when you first try to go into keto is, all the cells in your body have never worked on ketones. They used to metabolize only glucose all those years, and you never put them in that mode to start utilizing the ketones. So that's why you feel so lack of energy when first start this thing. But then after a few weeks, they start to remember, because you have this in your DNA, Every cell is like 4 times more powerful working on ketone. And once your cells are open and start burning those ketones, you start feeling like a machine, really.
Yep.
Man, you guys are getting all heavy on me now, man.
Sorry.
No, it's good, man. It's cool to hear the other side of things,
I love keto, but man, it's so hard sometimes when you just seeing pizza delivered to.
No, you don't have. That's the other thing, man. That's the other thing. Keto for me from the beginning was just the way to heal my body. I'm not on keto. I think I was on keto just for the first 5 months. And now what I'm doing is I enjoy myself with all different foods. Like I can eat something sweet every 2 weeks and enjoy it.
Yep.
And I eat a lot of fruits right now. But the thing is, my body can utilize anything. And because I still eat on that feeding window between 12 and 6 p.m., So in those 6 hours, I can put into my mouth whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have like 18 hours. And my body definitely goes into ketosis for at least 2 hours every day. So what I make is I switch my body, and my body now is ready to switch from glucose to ketone and again to glucose. And I feel the same. I mean, I feel like all the time I feel so much energy.
Yeah, I've been doing that too. Like I'm on month 3, but I kind of slacked off of the like super strict, and like, you know, every, you know, week or two I might have a, you know, slice of pizza or something, like a fruit or something, and it's fine. And like I actually like think it's I don't feel bad about it anymore, and I like don't have the keto flu or anything. It, like, you know, your body's like used to it at that point.
Yeah, actually, the most important thing is you have to study your body, how react to different things, and you can give time to yourself, like few years, and explore what is working the best for you. And when you find it, you can have like really happy life for the next 30, 40, 50 years. I put my mom into this, and she was very against me in the beginning because, to be honest, in the beginning when I lost all those weight, there was a point when I really looked like sick because I lose so much, and she was really scared. But I managed at the end to make her believe in that, and she started that for 6 months. She lost 20 kilos, and she feels so much better. And now I ask her to go back and eat something from the old things she have to eat, but she's like, no, I don't want. I feel absolutely great with those choices. It's amazing.
Yep. I went out to lunch. I took my grandmother out to lunch yesterday, and we went to this old buffet we used to go to all the time. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna just gorge. Like, I haven't done this in months. And I ate a salad and like some meat and had a little dessert. I was like, oh, I guess I'm not that hungry. All right, so the one thing I was going to bridge off of this was, I guess this is kind of where I landed the last time I had a podcast, but not talking about pizza, but
pizza pie or pizza?
Yeah, not getting into that topic again, but what are your favorite foods, either of you? Anything you've traveled and had, or like your main thing that you make or someone makes for you, or
Chep lives in Europe, so let him go first.
That's what I want to know.
Something more interesting. He's gonna say like a hamburger or something, and
nah. You know, I'm not that. How you call this? I'm not that crazy about food. And the weird thing is, all my relationships, I have women who are really good in cooking, and you know, they make for me such a brilliant stuff. But now I'm living alone last years, and I cook so simple for myself. And for me, always the eating is like I'm losing my time. I always try to eat quickly. And, you know, try to free myself to do other things. But if I have to pick up what is my favorite food, it's freaking simple. Like, I really love fried eggs and chips. Is that simple? Yeah.
Chips meaning French fries or chips?
That's what I'm picking
French
up.
French fries, yeah.
Yeah.
I was
That's
hoping
an
for
interesting
something more extravagant,
combination.
you know?
Yeah. What about you, Terry? You spent some time in California, and you know I've had some talks about food out there.
Yeah, I probably put me in the same boat as Chep. I'm not a vegetable guy. When we go out to eat, I always get the same thing, a chicken sandwich. Like there's not a lot of different foods I like. If I was to pick like, hey, this is your last meal, it would probably be my wife's tomato soup and grilled cheese. Like that would
wow.
be it.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I eat chicken, and then I'll eat like cereal or something. But other than that, I don't really like. If you went out and opened up a menu in a restaurant, I'm gonna pick grilled cheese or grilled chicken. That's it. I don't eat any other stuff, so it's pretty simple, But
So-
yeah, grilled cheese, tomato soup,
I like it. I'm going to just one of my favorite meals. I'm gonna bring this around here. So my wife and I, when we got married, honeymooned in Rome, and I found this like restaurant called Formula One. And being such a car and racing fan and tourist, I was like, hey, we gotta hit this place up. And it was actually like the reviews were like, oh, this is like, not in a touristy area, and it's kind of a hidden gem, and the food's incredible. And that was one of the best meals of my life. Like, I can't even remember the details of it, but there's just like, we ordered everything, and we were surrounded by Italians. Like, we felt like the minorities, and it was incredible. Like, and all the decor was Michael Schumacher and Ferrari, and of course all that.
Nice. Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, it's like all the happiness you could possibly have in one meal. So yeah.
Yeah, I did so many crazy things through my life. Like, I feel like I'm, how you call this? It's gonna sound stupid, but I don't feel like I'm bad guy. I feel like I'm good guy, but I have made really crazy stuff into my life. So there is so many stories, and people who knows me from my young age almost don't recognize me now when they see things, but I feel like I was the same person. Just when I was young, I was into every crazy shit you can think about. I wanted to try. So, for example, that passion for cars and driving I had in very young age, and I was 12 years old when I stole my family car. Yeah, and I drove it the entire night on the rain, and I have never driven a car before, so I learned in the track on wet night conditions. I drove like 500 kilometers, and I remember when I was on the road and the first car were coming in front of me, I was telling to my friend who was with me, okay, that's gonna be my first ever car. Passing on the road. Then I make my first pass and almost take the guy out of the road because I got back on my line too early. Yeah, that was crazy. And next day when I put back the car into the garage, but I was too little to think about they gonna see that the fuel is gone and the car is wet, but it's into the garage. So I was in big trouble for the next few weeks. But I'm happy I survived, because that was quite dangerous when you think now.
Yeah, back then, though, it isn't. You're that age, it's you're invincible.
Yeah.
I
my life is quite weird. So, I was, my parents get divorced. I was 5 years old, and like every kid, probably in the world, I felt like I really loved my father. So I really wanted to go and live with my father for a while. And the first 7 years I spent with my mother, and she was really, chasing me to be good on school, and stuff like this. I was actually first into my class, but finally I managed to go to live with my father, and he didn't care really about me too much. So I remember the very next year, I almost had to make the same class again next year. And I involved in that age, 12 years old, with really bad company and start making all those, dangerous things. And almost in age 14, I almost got in the jail. So I had to go back to my mom, and she was looking quite better after me. But probably till age 70, I was really a dangerous kid. And then when I was 18, I decided that I really want to make my own life, So I decided to go out of Bulgaria. I moved to Greece. My God, what happened? To Greece. And, I had to start work and looking after myself, and that really changed me a lot. And there was the point where once I found that I make enough money and I can chase my dream, making a racing car and do some real racing, I start making, saving money for a few years to build my first racing car. And yeah, I did it. People were laughing with me. All my friends were really laughing with me because nobody in my family is involved into racing. But for some reason, I always felt like racing is my stuff. And I remember when I built my first car, I started practicing in the middle of the night, alone, on the road, open road. And I take one of my friends who are kidding me all the time that what I'm expecting and what I know about racing, stuff like this. I take him with me one night into my practice, and he was like speechless at the end. Yeah, then the best feeling ever was when I finished my first race, and I got second on that race from my class, and I got trophy for that, and that was amazing feeling.
You're driving rally?
Yeah, I used to drive rally. Yeah, rally is actually my sport. Just, iRacing is what changed my perspective, because there is not really any sim that close to the reality.
And it's cheaper.
Oh, it's a lot cheaper,
Cheaper,
people.
safer.
Yeah, people kidding me. I'm spending so much money on the sim racing stuff. But nobody realized that just going for one rally, and make your stages, you're gonna spend like 3,000 to 4,000 euro just for that experience.
And it's once.
And it's just once. And to be honest, what happened when you're racing? The pressure is so big all those days that, you start like Friday, and when you finish Sunday, you're so tired you just go to sleep. And when you wake up on Monday, you don't remember anything. And you just feel that anything that happened those days, it was like a dream or something. Like it wasn't you, like somebody else told you about it.
It's Twilight
Is
Zone.
Yeah, it's the pressure.
Hey, Torin, can I ask one more question here?
Do it.
Chep, I know in real life you probably have a couple, but when you first got into sim racing or into iRacing, how Torn talked about how a lot of people, you're their inspiration. You're the one that they look to when they got into sim racing. Who was it for you that was in sim racing or maybe in real life that you said, I want to be like this guy, or, thinking about that person to help drive you to what you do today?
That is into my character, but I never had favorite person or personality in anything, even if it's music or racing or whatever. I just what inspires me a lot is
you can be your own
people,
inspiration. A lot of people.
No, it's about what inspires me is always people who are really good in what are they doing, when they are like an artist into their job. Is that music or painting or driving? So
doing what they love, like that's
what
they love.
Always when I see somebody who is really good in whatever he is doing, that brings me tears. It's so strong feeling for me, and that was always my goal. I have said this so many times, but I always try to be my better version of me every next day. I always try to beat myself next day, because if you try to chase something who is really far from you, that's gonna be big frustration, and maybe at some point you are going to give up. And if you want to race against someone, your better competition is yourself.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, that was always for me, I love so many people, racing personalities. I really love Colin McRae, because he was really crazy in that, and he put everything. I was never a fan of Formula One, so I don't have any favorite driver there. But to be honest, I never had somebody who is really, really favorite, even sim racer or iRacer or real racer.
Chep's just got a poster of himself on the wall. He's like, "You're the man. You are the man."
Nice. I always try to be better than me.
Yeah, hey, that's the only way to get better is if you beat yourself. Yeah, I like this car.
Yeah, maybe I have a little story when I start Richard Burns. And I used to race this simulator for about 2 years offline, and I felt like I'm really good. But then when I start online, I realized that there is so many good people and a lot better than me. And there was some guy who was really crazy, and he were putting some videos with really nice music on YouTube. And that was a bit like kind of inspiration for me, because the music, the mix, and the madness he had in his driving style makes me feel like I really want to be like this guy. And after 2 years, I was quite better than this guy. And, while looking back those videos and remember how I felt at this point, it was quite nice feeling. But, it was a short moment. It's not like for 2 years I chased this guy, but it was a moment when I felt really weak in what I'm doing. And then there was somebody who was already on the top. And I felt, well, will I be one day like this guy, or it's going to be just a dream? Yeah.
Hey, you're pretty close now.
Yeah. I would say that, just getting into sim racing, very similar experience where it's just like, oh yeah, I can kick so much ass by myself. Like I feel like I'm, good driver, and then you jump on iRacing for the first time, and then you're like, oh shit, so is everyone else.
So Ford
Yeah.
doesn't have all the best drivers in the world with my controller. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but
give it
you know
to
what's
me.
also awesome is like you spend a little time on here, and you meet some people, and then you come to find out, like Steliyan, drives rally in real life, or like Bobby, or Josh, people that drive sprint cars, Julian,
Yeah.
and you're, it's a simulation. It's it's not one for one, but to be able to like keep up and race with guys that have had so much real life experience, that's just fun. I don't know, it's
And
awesome.
those are the
It's
guys that help you. Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing in iRacing, and I'm not awesome, but I always try to help people in rally that are new, and Chep's helped me and helped Jeff, and Julian's helped me, Joe's helped me, Josh has helped me. Like, it's so cool that you have guys that have this talent and real life experience that don't have that ego, and hey, if I teach you and you end up faster than me, then I feel good about myself because
Oh man, I hated that. I hated. I remember that happened with the Richard Burns rally, and then happened with the Rallycross. But when happened with the Rallycross, I already had many years of experience, so I didn't get that worry. But when the Rallycross arrived, and the first week there was everybody into Rallycross, and those big names from iRacing, they were quite fast, and some of them, we know each other for so many years, and I know it from the beginning that I'm going to be good in Rallycross because I know how to drive rally cars. But they were so much faster than me that first week, and I know it's all about setup. And I asked them for help, and everybody said no.
Yeah.
That was so frustrating. And I was like, you motherfuckers. I am going to be better than you one day. I know that. And I'm gonna make everybody else around you better than you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's usually the real life racers are the ones that help because they have been at the rally track or their local track on a Saturday night or a weekend and seen a fellow driver that maybe needs a set of tire or struggling somewhere, and they know how hard that fight is, and they help them. Where some of these people that started on sim and that's the only thing they've done, they seem to want to hoard that skill, and where the real life drivers are more than happy to help because they've already lived that life and helped people and been helped themselves. I'm sure when Chep was racing in real life, there was somebody at some track that gave him some advice or helped him out with some setup thing or something. And, that's in their blood, where some people that it's just iRacing, they seem a lot more hoardy with their help. You know what I mean?
Yep. I've had the experience where, I got to not a Chepi state here, but got to a point in time when, like, it was last summer, I was like the fastest, not pro guy, just like kicking ass in every race, winning every race. And you have people like Kevin Carlisle who keep messaging me like, dude, how are you so fast? Or Madigan, or, some of the other guys that are now pros. And then, we start hanging out and driving, and then eventually they're better than me, and they're the ones giving me advice and making me faster. So just like, it's this give and take, and I don't know, it's so cool. Like, it's really fun to coordinate and help people out, and then you see people.
Yeah, many people don't realize. Many people don't realize, but actually, helping someone, it doesn't matter if it's racing or real life, whatever. When you make something good for somebody else,
makes you better.
Yeah, makes you really happy. The most happiness you can feel is always when you help somebody else.
Yep.
If you get helped from someone, you're own experience. You never feel like really happy when you get helped from somebody, but when you help somebody, you really feel like I don't know. Yeah, it's such a great feeling when you can help somebody and make him happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best feeling in the world.
Thank you so much for listening. If you liked what you heard, please share this podcast. I'm trying to spread the word. Just starting out. Would really appreciate it. You can also find me on social media. I've got Instagram content, YouTube, putting races up on there, having a good time with that. So, yeah, enjoy. Until next time.